Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this video finds you, I hope you're having a rad time. I'm the Figure Dude, and on today's Action Figure Showcase, we have part 3 of my tag team collection. Without further ado, let's talk about some figures. Dude. Welcome back. Like I said, today is part 3 of my tag team collection here, and I say collection, it's not every tag team in the collection, just some of my favorites that I have. So some of these are custom, some of these are official releases. I think some of them even I've made customs to match like an existing figure. So starting off today, we do have customs, obviously. We have 2 Bullet Club members. We have Clark Connors and Drilla Maloney, and both of these I really didn't know a ton about before I started to get into making their customs, and I knew they were part of the Bullet Club. I wanted to make a David Finlay, and when I looked him up, I saw a lot of these guys. I had seen Clark Connors a little bit in AEW, and with Maloney, the only, like, I recognize his name because I guess he was in like NXT UK. Like, he was on their roster. I don't even know if he had a televised show or match or anything. Man, I can't talk right now. Anyway, as soon as I saw them, as much as they popped up with David Finlay, I figured I'd go ahead and make them. Heteration had their head sculpts, of course. So I went ahead, I made their attire from Wrestle Kingdom 18, I think it is. And I had a lot of fun with these. A lot went into it, as far as the formulas and everything. And I can't look at them and tell you exactly what I did the first time through. I did them on Work in Progress Wednesday, maybe with David Finlay at the same time. I know I used a Kofi torso for the Maloney at least and repainted that. But everything else was a lot of piecing together, trying to figure out like what was going to work for their scale and their body types. So I had a lot of fun with these, but I wanted to sneak them in there. This is actually the second set of Bullet Club members. These guys were tag champs together, so I didn't just grab a couple random Bullet Club members like these and then the Gals and Anderson. Like they're a tag team within Bullet Club, so didn't have a problem including these guys, but think they're 2 pretty rad customs, so threw them in there. Next up, we have the recent LWO 5-pack Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro. Is that what it's? Yep, I couldn't remember. I get him and his main roster name and his NXT name mixed up. So I really like these figures. I like the whole 5-pack. I did a review over them. Besides some tight joints with the like hips and just besides some tight joints, I loved the entire set. And these I think look really cool. Technically, their attires don't match because there's just a lot of color to them. But obviously, they're a tag team. They do have the matching LWO shirts and the with all the updated pieces like the True Effects, the pinless arms, everything like these compared to their basics that we got are fantastic. And like I said, their attires don't match, but they're so colorful. There's just so much to these figures that I had to throw them in here because on the shelf they look fantastic. And the rest of the LWO, which I'm gonna do like my favorite stables in my collection, and I'm sure they'll be in there just because of how good they all look together. But wanted to get these guys in here. They don't even do necessarily a lot of tag matches, but I count these guys as a tag team because they were almost specific, like almost solely as part of LDF and NXT, so I always will think of them that way, but had to get Cruz and Joaquin Wilde in here. Next up are just a couple of my favorite wrestlers in general of all time, the Hardy Boyz, and this is from the Epic Moments 2-pack from their return at WrestleMania 33, which is what both these tires are based off of. I think I did swap the head. I think this is from a different Matt Elite. I'm pretty sure. Everything else, and the flip shirt, I think is from his Elite something with the green pants. I can't remember what Elite set that was. I can't even think of what else it was with. But the Matt and Jeff the moment was absolutely epic. I lost my mind. I was following all the dirt sheet rumors. I was convinced they were going to be at WrestleMania. Their car showed up at they had like a pre-WrestleMania watch party, so they were in the area, and there was a picture on Twitter of a WWE official car that was pulled up at their watch party, and it was all there, and I was just waiting for it. And then when the New Day said there was going to be another tag team added, I started to lose my mind. And when their music hit, I lost it completely. I was so excited. I've always liked Jeff Hardy's been my favorite for a long time. Jeff Hardy, Shawn Michaels, my two favorite wrestlers. Growing up and still to this day, I really enjoy them. And getting them back and then getting these attires and everything was awesome. Being able to get more Jeff Hardy figures in general was exciting, but even just getting these from that moment, celebrating that, was so cool. So I really wanted to get these in here. I have so many Jeff Hardys, so many Matts, but these go together from that moment. And honestly, I'd like them to come back so we can get even more. I'd like a lot of Attitude Era Hardy Boyz, like Team Extreme specifically. Just so many different looks for the Hardy Boyz that I'd really, really like to get still, even though we've gotten plenty. But I had to include this set because just together, as far as what we've gotten from Mattel, and then with the moment and everything, this is probably my favorite. Next up, we have Team Angle here, and I didn't necessarily expect to get a Team Angle version of Shelton Benjamin to go with the Kurt Angle, but also he was in the company for years. I don't know why we couldn't get that as like a chase or something, even though we obviously weren't going to get Charlie Haas. He's not signed to a Legends deal, but we've gotten some other figures like that we're not going to get the match for. I get like the white version of Yokozuna. When I think of that, I think of him teaming with Owen Hart. And he, even when we got that figure, he came with a tag belt. And we obviously weren't going to get that Owen Hart. So this happened before. We got a new rocker, Shawn Michaels, that didn't have a Marty Jannetty that was going to come with it. And everyone knew that. Mattel knew that. It wasn't even a question, really. So I would have really, really liked if we would have gotten this in a Shelton, at least to pair with the Kurt Angle that we have. That is literally in Team Angle attire, but I made mine, and then obviously we've got Charlie Haas here as well. Made these a long time ago. I do not know what the parts are. I would like to go back again and remake these, scale them a little better. I made my Charlie Haas a little bit too tall. Just some small things that I'd like to go back and redo now that I've gotten a little bit better at customizing and everything. But these still look fantastic next to Kurt Angle, and maybe one day we will get that opportunity again. But until then, here's my Elite Custom Team Angle. All right, I know it's about tag teams, but I did include Natalya in here because she was their manager, and it wasn't like an interchangeable piece of the trio here. It was always Tyson Kidd and D.H. Smith wrestling as the Hart Foundation. Hart Dynasty. Yeah, Hart Dynasty. There we go. I wasn't watching wrestling that much when these guys were a thing. I kind of remembered Tyson Kidd when he first debuted, and then I'd kind of stopped watching wrestling a little bit, and all I remembered about him for the longest time was his stupid haircut. I don't know why his hair was cut the way it was, the way it is on this head sculpt. But I wrote him off way too early. I thought, who in the Sam Hill is this guy? Eventually, I did grow to really enjoy his in-ring work, especially when he teamed with Cesaro. And we got a figure of that as well, which is essentially the same formula, but I just think this one was done a little bit better. He's got different kick pads that have like the pad part that sticks out a little bit, and I like that mold more than the just like flat kick pads we got. And then like the pink and black, is so classic. I grew up watching Bret Hart, so obviously that's an homage to them. That's why we have the Hart Dynasty. But I really like that attire. And then the D.H. Smith figure is the only Elite we ever got of him, and I do think his torso and arm should be much bigger. But I love how these look together. Like I said, I like matching attires. These play really well together. they can't pose for squat. I cannot move the legs on the D.H. Smith figure. I really just need to make like an entirely new custom of him. And Clarky Collector on Instagram has made a really nice updated version of D.H. Smith, David Hart Smith. But for Mattel, for what they were giving us at the time, it's a fine figure. I think the likeness is pretty good for that, but the Natalya was a basic, I think, like the first Natalya figure I got. But like I said, all of them together I think look fantastic. I don't know what their standing is. I think Tyson Kidd is still a part of WWE, as part, like, one of their producers. I'm pretty positive. And then D.H. Smith had like one appearance with WWE, and he just does the indies. So I would never rule these guys out. I could see them getting re-release figures like these in the greatest hits, or just getting like a pink or a white version like we did with their basics. So anyway, there's the Hart Dynasty. Moving on. Next up, we have American Alpha, and these figures are a couple of my personal favorites. I really like these. I like the formula. We got like some one-off shoes for the Jason Jordan figure as well. Like, I think his whole lower body was a one-off mold that they didn't come back to. I could see like them using that entirely for a Julius Creed. I might have even talked about that when I did my Work in Progress Wednesday for the Creed brothers, but I think this Jason Jordan looks really nice. And then the Chad Gable as well. They've made 3 elites, I think, of him, and yeah, I think 3 of him, and I think they all look really good. I think this is a good torso choice for him. I'm glad they didn't give him the smaller singlet torso, and then lower legs too. I think these were maybe these were a new calf mold at the time, or I don't think they're the Dean Malenko ones, but anyway, I really like these figures. And then the NXT TakeOver Dallas premium pay-per-view special, whatever they called it on NXT. I think this is what that attire is from, so that's one of my favorite NXT matches. Still got the old NXT belts with them, and then these guys were in the like Then Now Forever Elite line, which was at Walmart for a little bit. But like I said, I thought both of these figures were really nice. There was another set of elites that got released of them in like a gold attire, and I thought these looked a lot better, so decided to throw these on here. But American Alpha, one of my favorites in NXT during that period, and again, figures that I really enjoyed. Next up, we have the Elite Dudley Boyz, and we did get these, and then we got them released again in the from the Vault series, which I did not pick up. I already have 2, so I have 2 versions. This version I fixed up, and then I have the plain version, which I did not touch, which I kept on like the modern, as my like modern Dudleys. So these ones, I was so happy when we got these, and then we just never got anything else. So I was really disappointed by that, but at least we got these in the Elite line. So I did switch the head on the Bubba Ray. That's from a Jack's finishing moves wave, I think, with the tongue sticking out. And then the arms, I actually put on some IRS arms to give him the sleeved look instead of the like the sleeveless that they had in the official release. And then with the Devon, I did not like how short the torso was. I thought he was way too short next to Bubba, and I gave him a Junkyard Dog torso, so it's still like that same size around, but he was a little bit taller. And I do want to, like, I'm going to put a different head sculpt on, and we're getting those ECW Dudleys, so I assume we're going to have more down the line, like once we get those with some WWE looks. And I even have like 3 or 4 different looks for the Dudleys in my collection, but this is what I think of when I think of them. And I really like my ECW customs of them, but we're about to get those the official Mattel Creation versions, so they slid down the list a little bit, and that's how I ended up choosing these. But here are those damn Dudleys. Next up are a couple custom figures that I like way more than the actual story. I wasn't really a huge fan of the Adam Cole MJF thing. I didn't like a long-term babyface MJF, and I felt like they kind of like had some natural momentum that built to a good opportunity to turn Adam Cole, and they pushed it off until the devil thing. And obviously he got hurt, and then they pretty much scrapped it all, which you can't help that. But I wasn't a massive fan of it, but I am a huge MJF fan, and wanted to make some customs, so I ended up making their matching attire. I think they wore this at All Out, which I don't know why AEW does that a week or whatever after All In. But this was like their kind of jersey look that they had, and I went with some Bobby Roode legs and Ricky Steamboat calves, I think, for my MJF and then that is the Rey Mysterio his Halloween attire torso, and then I just use a normal t-shirt torso for Adam Cole. I think those are Bo Dallas legs with some Tully Blanchard calves, so they're the correct scale. I thought these looked good as far as just like their size, just looking at them outside of just like how tall they were. But I repainted a Jazzwares head for that MJF, and like I said, I really like these customs. I like the matching attire and everything. Just didn't love the actual storyline. So I'm sure, I don't know, maybe some of you really love that. Maybe I'll catch some flack for that. But I think MJF is awesome. I think MJF should always be a heel. I think he should always be an a-hole, but he can still be a lovable scumbag. So there is better than you, baby. Next up, we have my favorite NXT tag team that I had so much hope for. We've got Enzo Amore and Big Cass, and I love these guys in NXT. I was pumped when they went to the main roster. They were super hot, and they never won anything. Enzo won the Cruiserweight belt. Cass beat Daniel Bryan at a pay-per-view. I don't think he ever won a championship. And for like backstage reasons, Enzo ended up fizzling out in WWE, and then Big Cass, I think he just requested his release, and now he's in WWE as Big Bill, obviously. In great shape, by the way. And Enzo has just popped up, just kind of causing trouble. I don't know. It's disappointing. I had high hopes for them. I really liked them, but their figures I thought were pretty good. I liked the Enzo Amore. I think this was a new mold that we got when we got him. And then I got a shirt. Both of these shirts are from Threadhead Clothing. With the Big Cass, I liked his figures. I thought it was good. I think I did paint his calves so that they were black and just like looked like the big knee pads like he wore. I think I gave him arms from his basic figure because his elite had skinny arms. And then I did give him the British Bulldog torso there because he had like that skinny Hogan torso, and I did not like that at all. So some Mattel releases that I did fix up, but like I said, I really like these guys, and it's unfortunate things didn't work out, but you know, you're gonna have that. I've talked about the same thing with Velveteen Dream. Didn't work out for various reasons, but it is what it is. We've got plenty of other guys keep cheering on. So moving on, we've got one more tag team today. So we're going to finish up with two guys that things did work out for. We've got the two-man power trip, and these guys were barely around as a tag team before Triple H ended up getting hurt, but I wanted to make them because we got the figures to do it. We've got heel Stone Cold. We've got the Stephanie McMahon-Helmsley, the McMahon-Helmsley era Triple H here with the goal on his tights. And I did swap things a little bit, so I think the white knee braces might have come from a basic, and then the jacket on the back of Stone Cold, or his vest, is the one with gold lettering on it, which I don't remember if that came. I assume it must have come with some elite. I don't remember which one though, but at one point these guys won the tag belts together. Triple H had the IC belt, Stone Cold had the world belt, but then Triple H ended up getting hurt, and that was the end of it. Like, it never circled around and got back to it. We did get the a Showdown 2-pack with these guys in their street attire, which I think was awesome. I thought they looked really good. but I wanted to put their elites on here. The basics look good. They just, like, their scale's a little off. The posing isn't quite as good because it's basics, even though it's the new ones. But I wanted to get the elites in here. Both of these, it was like just like a weird time, and it was two massive stars teaming together and winning the tag belt. So that is going to be it for today. So if you like what we're doing here, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, I appreciate it. If you aren't subscribed already, go ahead and do it. If you are subscribed already, thank you very much. Please continue to like, share, comment, all of that. And remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy more action figures. Figure Dude